قال الله وهو لا يهوى Basham and Shai Basham Kakudash. The belongers to the apostles and elders of great millstone that rule and teach wild peace and sanity. The brothers and the four corners of this earth pushing in this word in truth and in sincerity. Tell them I say Shalom. Alright, so here we have an article. You know what I mean? A very how to pay it, right? I don't want to say accurate. I want to it's accurate for the times, for the climate. It's addressing something, you know what I mean? Have we been preaching about for a little minute now? Alright? So it says, how close are we to universal basic income? Right? We know what that is concerned. Right? Alright, so this little article piece here is just hard. Alright, so we go into the article. Alright. It says back in 1516, English philosopher Thomas More wrote a book called Utopia. In it, he posed a simple question. What if people steal not because they're criminals, but because they're desperate? If hunger and poverty are pushing people toward crime, he argued, wouldn't it make more sense to ensure everyone had the means to survive in the first place? As he famously put it, it made little sense to turn someone into first a thief and then a corpse. For centuries that followed, the idea of giving everyone free money remained nothing more than a philosophical debate. Government simply lacked the administrative machinery to send cash directly to millions of people. But fast forward to today, and a massive technological shift is dusting off this 500-year-old idea. Look at what is happening in South Korea right now. Semiconductor giants like Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix are minting money from the AI boom, heavily driven by the explosive demand for high bandwidth memory chips. The profits are so staggering that a South Korean policymaker recently proposed giving citizens dividends using excess revenues that came from taxing AI profits. He publicly pushed tech companies to share their AI-driven windfalls with workers and suppliers too. Why, you ask? Because there is a growing anxiety that the vast benefits of AI will be hoarded by a tiny circle of companies, investors, and highly skilled workers, thereby increasing income inequality. Bitch, that's what they're doing now. Who runs the world? 99% of the world banks are owned by which family or which group of families? That is all your homework, all your research. Right? Anyhow, this echoes exactly what Elon Musk has been talking about. Musk believes advanced AI will eventually become so hyperproductive that human labor might take a backseat, forcing society to adopt some form of universal UBI or universal high income. However, as Musk calls it in his view, the problem of the future won't be creating wealth, it will be ensuring that enough people get a share of it when machines do most of the heavy lifting. Which brings us to the multi-trillion-dollar question. If AI creates unprecedented prosperity, is it time for UBI to step off the whiteboard and into public policy? Well, UBI's appeal is incredibly simple. Instead of untangling a messy web of dozens of welfare programs with strict eligibility rules, the government just gives every citizen a guaranteed income floor. The premise is that nobody goes to bed hungry or will have to worry about a roof over their head. As a result of financial anxiety, as a result, financial anxiety drops. People get the breathing room to pursue education, care for loved ones, or start a business without the constant dread of survival hanging over their heads. And real-world trials show the idea isn't as radical as it sounds. When Finland ran a widely discussed basic income experiment, recipients reported lower stress, better mental health, and higher life satisfaction. In Kenya, cash transfers boosted household nutrition, consumption, and even local economic activity. Alaska has its permanent fund, which pays residents a yearly dividend from state oil revenues. It has operated for decades without causing the mass labor dropout that many people swore would happen. Contrary to popular belief, across the experiments, researchers found a common thread that most people just kept working. The assumption that free money automatically breeds laziness has found surprisingly little support little support in the data. But here is where reality bites. Most of these pilot programs were small, temporary, and tightly controlled. Running a 2 year experiment for a few thousand people is a completely different beast than guaranteeing a permanent income for an entire nation indefinitely. And this is where we must talk about the elephant in the room. A meaningful UBI requires astronomical sums of money every single year. Even the wealthiest nations on earth. And this is why I say, I mean, there's this clip in a movie called The Wolf of Wall Street, right? Where the newbie, the rookie, went to see like the boss. I think he was the boss. Yeah. At the whatever the fuck is called, the stock firm or whatever it's called it. And he carried him out to lunch. And something he asked him, and he said the stock market is pixie dust, it's fugazi, it's not real. Right? It is not real because here what he's saying here, right? Even the wealthiest nations on earth would sweat trying to fund it. Now, there is a man who makes 100 and something dollars a second. At least that is the last time I checked, which was like a year now. Right? I believe it's Jeff Bezos. Right? It is said that he could give everybody on the planet $1 million and still be the richest man on it. I think I said that in a previous video. Right? So how they could come with this bullshit on board, even the wealthiest nations on earth would sweat trying to fund it. These people literally sweating money. So we see it with the BS coming in now, right? Well, let we go. Proposals often rely on wealth taxes, automation taxes, or taxes specifically on AI generated profits. Yet every single one of these funding sources comes with severe political and economic trade offs. One interesting proposal that's gaining traction is something called AI Sovereign Wealth Fund. The idea is borrowed from countries like Norway and Alaska. Instead of imposing heavy new taxes on AI companies or handing out corporate profits directly to citizens, governments would funnel a portion of the excess tax revenues generated during AI and semiconductor booms into a professionally managed investment fund. Think of it this way: suppose an AI super cycle causes semiconductor companies to generate record profits and pay unusually large amounts in corporate taxes. Rather than spending that windfall immediately, the government invested across a diversified portfolio of global assets. Over time, those investments generate their own returns, creating a permanent pool of capital that can fund citizen dividends, worker retraining programs, pensions, or support for people displaced by automation. The logic is simple. Imagine if the government funded UBI directly using taxes collected from AI companies during an AI boom. Tax collections would explode and citizens could receive generous payouts. But what happens when the boom ends? Semiconductor profits fall, AI spending slows, and tax revenues dry up. And suddenly the government either has to slash payments or borrow heavily to keep them going. This is where a sovereign wealth fund can solve the problem. Instead of distributing every rupee of tax revenue immediately, the government invests a portion of those windfall gains into a diversified portfolio of assets. Over time, the fund generates its own investment returns, allowing the future payouts to be based on a much more stable income stream rather than the unpredictable fortunes of a single industry. Uh, yeah, so basically that is just the point of this entire article. Just breaking down how it would be beneficial to society, how it has been proven to be beneficial to society. And the only opposition it really have is that how they could generate the funds, right? So mind you, the UBI is not going to run on the fiat currency. The UBI is going to run on the CBDC, right? Central bank digital currency, digital, which is going to be heavily heavily, what is the word? What is it I'm looking for? I don't want to say cloaked. It could be heavily influenced by your social credit score, right? Your UBI. That is what they would like to do. All right. We are with. Uh, there's that. Isaiah 19 and 14, it says, Yahweh had mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Right? It says it err in every work thereof. One, because the UBI system that they want to, just like everything else that they want to implement, right? Or they just try to implement as a solution after they cause the fucking chaos or the problem or the crisis, right? Everything they want to implement after as the solution, what does make it look as, hey, there's the best solution we have for the problem, that nothing else could work, this, that, and the other, and then there's come with some BS afterwards to bite you, to shaft you basically, you know? Just like with the juice. Yeah, take this. This works. This is 90% whatever. 99% sure it works. Then boom, no, it dropped to 80. Then boom, now you had 70%. And try you had to take backups. Right? You had to take backups to make sure it works. You could still get sick and all that BS. Right? When the digital system is being made mandatory with the 15-minute cities, you really think you could, and they don't penalize you and they still give you money? Let's be real. Let's be real. Like, this precept here null and void then, right? This precept here will be null and void if that happens. Revelation 12 and 12. It says, Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. This is his 250th year in power. This is coming, this his reign is coming to a close. Esau Edom's reign is coming to a close. And he know he have a short time. Why you think he would just give away free fucking money? No repercussions. No consequence to actions. Free fucking money. Do the math. Down on the Twin Island here, we have a saying, maths and maths and that maths not maths and don't make no sense for him to do that. Regardless of where they get the money from or whatever, you know what I mean? That not important. Right? That's not important because they could print more money, inflate it. They could say whatever they want to manipulate the stock market. That shit does not matter. These articles and so on and so forth, these things that post on the media will make you think it does not. They control it. They will say, yeah, we good, or no, we not good. They will do what they will. The wicked shall do wickedly. That's the precept that come to mind. Um, is in Daniel. I just don't remember where in Daniel. Gosh, that my brother will bring on Daniel 12 and 10. It says, Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Yeah, the wise is the ones who understand. The servants of the Lord will understand. We will foresee danger and hide ourselves. We understand what is coming next. We understand how they want to do it and how they will go about it. Yeah, we understand it. So we know what to look for. Is either you take it or you get caught up in this mayhem. Right? Is either you take it or you go to Egypt to help and be slaughtered with them. You know what I mean? Become missile food along with Egypt. Because this is exactly what is going to happen. They will become missile food, laser food, lightning food. When you're shy, you're Basham, you're shy returns, hey. Are you Pancho, as others say? Are you Pancho? You know what I mean? Que sera, sera, it is what it is. It don't get more basic than that. It don't get more layman than that. You know? Because at the end of the day, they are going to make it seem like it's phenomenal. Even the articles say we can't really, you know what I mean, compare giving people a permanent salary, an entire nation a permanent salary of the studies done of, you know what I mean, a couple thousand people for a 2 year period. You know? We could just run theories. You know what I mean? Ain't no way that go work. Ain't no way. You know what I mean? There will be stipulations and consequences for minor infractions. They will literally control how you live now. They already control what you eat, what you drink, and you don't even know. All you know is days what you're feeling for. Take that into context and put it towards your literal life, because I mean, a boy could still banny belly and still say, you know what, hey, I cutting out this chunk, and I would spend, even though it's spending more, I would just try to hustle a little harder, make a little more money, and live a little healthier. Because we all know living healthy in any single nation is expensive, right? Try to live healthier, yeah, no sin, and boom, prices go up, oil go up, inflation, right? Scratch that. UBI using now digital system, you go and you take your mark. But you can't say nothing against the government. You can't say nothing against any laws the government make, anything a politician do. You can't post about it. You could barely talk about it because they might offer rewards for anybody who, you know what I mean, dissing the government, as they say. Then what would be your position? Then what, you can't, you're all white breast meat, you know? Just to put it into perspective, they already control what we eat and drink, the quality of it, the bro, that. So there's this drink, this Portugal drink. I'm not going to call the brand, right? So I was telling Akoka, hey, and hey, I blame myself for not even being as circumspect as I should be, even as a man at the road, right? So anyhow, this Portugal drink, all right? I was like, hey, this tastes real nice. I really like this. It's my favorite one out of the whole line now. It's juice, right? So she was like, you know, I never ever. I said, nah, don't even say what you're going to say. Don't even finish. Don't say you never drink one. And yeah, she buy never drink one in my life. I was like, shit, try it today. So coming down to the end of the shift, you know, she take out one, she take a sip, she twist up, she face like, that's weird. I say only weird because, you know, it's the first time you're doing it. The more you drink it, you know what I mean? You by the time you reach halfway, she proceeds to read the label. And what she proceeds to tell me is that, hey, you know it have no percentage of Portugal in this. I say, ain't no way. She was like, come and see for yourself. Like the first time in my entire life of drinking that drink, I've read it, and there was 0% Portugal, and it's Portugal flavored. You know what I mean? As we were saying, that is my shit. That is my shit. I was being fucking lazy minded there. I haven't drank it since though. I have not drunk it since. But I digress. I digress. What I'm saying is, look, there is an example. They're saying, hey, this is a Portugal drink. There is no Portugal in it. So where the fuck the Portugal flavor coming from? You know what I mean? Even in the orange flavor drink, it says 3% orange juice. 3%. So that is to show you they already control what we eat without a shadow of a doubt, without a thought. They would give us that. So what do you think they're going to do with the money? Let's put it in perspective, right? It was edifying. I was back food for thought among the Akim watching and listening through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rokakadash. Until next time, Shalom.